Be Me, 30-year-old feminist, work in gender studies at university, noticed disturbing trend among male colleagues and friends, guys increasingly dating women from other countries. Not just coincidence, deliberate pattern of avoiding American women. Assume it's fetishization or exotic preference. Start investigating why men seeking relationships abroad. First notice when coworker Mark returns from business trip to Poland. Starts dating Polish woman he met there within months. She's different from women here, without elaborating. Expect typical male objectification of foreign women. Instead, discover she's software engineer with advanced degree, more educated than Mark, but treats relationship differently. No constant political discussions or criticism of his behavior. Watch them together at department party. She actually laughs at his jokes. American women at same party analyzing every comment for problematic content. Attend friend's wedding, where groom met bride in Philippines. Expect typical mail order bride situation. Discover she's nurse practitioner who immigrated independently, speaks 3 languages, earns good salary, owns property. More accomplished than most American women I know, yet somehow their relationship dynamic completely different. She appreciates his efforts instead of critiquing them constantly. Wedding speech thanks him for being wonderful man. American women would never publicly praise masculinity like that. Brother Tom starts online dating with international focus. American women exhausting to date. Show him feminist articles about fetishization of foreign women. It's not about fetishes, it's about finding someone who likes men. Describes dating experiences with American women. Every interaction becomes political education session. Foreign women interested in partnership rather than ideological correction. Shows me messages from American women versus international ones. American, we need to discuss your male privilege. Romanian, excited to cook dinner together tonight. Visit Jake, who's now dating Romanian woman from his company. Expect to find submissive traditional woman. Meet confident marketing director who negotiates million-dollar contracts. Speaks 4 languages, traveled extensively, runs marathons. Yet their relationship lacks constant tension I observe in American couples. No arguments about gender roles or male privilege. She seems genuinely happy with masculine behavior I'd criticize. Jake opens car door. She says thank you, instead of lecturing about capability. Brings him coffee at work. Colleagues assume she's his assistant. Actually, she's his supervisor, but doesn't correct assumption. Attend university faculty mixer, where pattern becomes obvious. Male professors increasingly married to international women. Eastern European, Asian, Latin American wives and girlfriends. Not students or dependent women, professionals and academics. Chemistry professor's Chinese wife runs biotech startup. Literature professor's Brazilian wife practices international law. Accomplished women choosing traditional relationship dynamics. Overhear conversation between professors' wives. American women seem angry all the time. Why would you criticize man who treats you well? Online dating research reveals concerning statistics. American men upgrading to premium accounts on international sites. Seeking serious relationships abroad. Domestic dating app usage declining among professional men. They're literally paying extra to avoid dating American women. Demographic shift happening quietly without media attention. Dating app algorithms show American women getting fewer matches, men filtering specifically for non-American nationality. Speak with male friend about international dating trends. Foreign women appreciate effort instead of analyzing it. Bring flowers, get smile instead of lecture about gender expectations. Cook dinner, get gratitude instead of criticism about labor division. Describes relationship dynamics I'd identify as problematic, but foreign women seem genuinely satisfied with arrangements. Tells story about ex-girlfriend analyzing romantic gesture. Flowers perpetuate capitalist consumption and gender stereotypes. Versus current girlfriend from Ukraine who pressed flowers in book. Visit International Student Center at university. Observe American men gravitating toward foreign exchange students, not targeting vulnerable women, seeking different relationship culture. Exchange students often more educated and sophisticated than locals. Choosing partners based on attitude rather than status or looks. Foreign women responding positively to traditional masculine behavior. Witness interaction between American guy and Swedish exchange student. He offers to carry her books. She accepts gratefully. American women nearby rolling eyes at outdated gender performance. Travel agency consultation reveals new business trends. Relationship tours to Eastern Europe and Latin America. Not sex tourism, legitimate cultural exchange programs. Men spending thousands to meet women in traditional societies. Agency owner explains clientele shift. Used to be desperate older men, now successful professionals. High-value American men opting out of domestic dating market. Average client, college-educated, professional, previously married to American woman. Seeking different cultural approach to relationships. Attend cousin's engagement party to Ukrainian woman. Expect family drama about foreign bride. Discover universal approval from both families. She's doctor who immigrated for medical residency. Speaks better English than most Americans. Relationship characterized by mutual appreciation rather than criticism. No feminist analysis of every interaction or gesture. Grandmother loves her because she respects men in family. Ukrainian woman organizes family dinner. Everyone praises her effort. American female cousins criticize her for setting back women's progress. Work colleague David shows photos from Colombian vacation. Returns engaged to lawyer he met in Bogota. She makes me want to be better man instead of different man. Relationship built on inspiration rather than correction. Foreign woman encouraging his masculine qualities instead of suppressing them. Partnership model I find personally threatening. She moved to America, got job at prestigious law firm, speaks perfect English but maintains feminine presentation. American female lawyers at firm whisper about internalized misogyny. Research international marriage statistics. American men marrying foreign women at increasing rates. Not mail-order brides, educated professional women. Choosing to immigrate for love rather than economic opportunity. Divorce rates lower in international marriages than domestic ones. Cultural differences creating stronger rather than weaker bonds. Investigate further and discover shocking data. International wives report higher relationship satisfaction. Domestic violence rates lower in cross-cultural marriages. Financial stability higher when American men marry foreign women. Visit friend's divorce lawyer who notices demographic trends. Female American clients increasingly divorced by men who remarry foreigners. Describes pattern of American men leaving for international relationships. Not about money or appearance, about relationship dynamics. Men willing to start over rather than continue domestic partnerships. Foreign women providing what American women no longer offer. Lawyer shows statistics from practice. Divorced American men remarry foreign women 60% of time. Foreign second wives, pregnancies happen faster, marriages last longer. International wives seem to actually like their husbands. Attend church where pastor mentions marriage trends. Young men in congregation dating internationally. Not theological issue, but cultural observation. Foreign Christian women embracing traditional gender roles. American Christian women influenced by feminist theology. Religious communities splitting along cultural lines about relationships. Youth pastor, struggling with gender dynamics. American Christian women expect egalitarian marriages. Foreign Christian women practice complementarian relationships. Church leadership confused about which model to promote. International dating coach friend explains business growth. American men desperate for appreciation instead of criticism. Foreign women raised to value partnership over power struggles. Coaching men for international dating rather than domestic success. Cultural competency training for cross-cultural relationships. American dating market abandoned by male clients. Shows client testimonials from successful international relationships. Finally found woman who doesn't hate masculinity. Married 2 years, she still smiles when I come home. Relationship based on gratitude instead of grievances. Visit brother's apartment where Romanian girlfriend cooks dinner. Offer to help. She insists on serving us. feminist alarm bells ringing about gender role enforcement. Observe genuine happiness in her domestic contribution. She enjoys traditional feminine expression. I'd consider oppressive. Relationship satisfaction coming from different value system. She works full-time as accountant but loves cooking for Tom. American women told me this makes me weak, but taking care of man I love makes me feel strong. Tom visibly relaxed and happy in ways I never saw with American girlfriends. Speak with foreign women about American men preferences. Discover they specifically seek American men. American men more respectful than men from our countries. Treat women better, share household responsibilities. Cultural exchange benefiting both parties. American men getting appreciation, foreign women getting respect. Meet group of international women at coffee shop. American women don't understand how good they have it. American men help with housework and child care. But American women still complain constantly. We appreciate what American women take for granted. Research cultural differences in relationship expectations. Discover fundamental incompatibility in relationship philosophies. American feminism creating antagonistic gender dynamics. Foreign cultures maintaining complementary gender relationships. Not oppression versus liberation. Different partnership models. Men choosing cooperation over constant negotiation. Read international women's forums about American dating. American women treat relationships like competition, always fighting for power instead of building together. Men need appreciation, not constant correction. University International Office reports interesting statistics. American male faculty increasingly dating foreign colleagues. Not power imbalance, peer relationships with cultural differences. International women, faculty dating American men despite other options. Mutual attraction based on cultural compatibility rather than convenience. Notice pattern in faculty relationships. American male professors with foreign wives, happier, more productive. American male professors with American wives, stressed, frequent complaints. International women choosing American men over foreign options. American men are gentle compared to men from our countries. Visit Wedding Expo, where international bride service is prominent. Not trafficking or exploitation, legitimate cultural exchange. Educated foreign women seeking American husbands. American men seeking traditional relationship dynamics. Market response to domestic dating market failure. Business model based on cultural compatibility matching. Speak with service representative about clientele. Men who tried American dating and gave up. Successful professionals who want partnership marriages. Women from traditional cultures who want respectful husbands. Mutual benefit rather than exploitation dynamic. Attend workplace diversity training where topic arises. HR director addressing international workplace relationships. Significant increase in cross-cultural office relationships. American men and foreign women colleagues pairing up frequently. Creating workplace complications with American female employees. Accusations of discrimination and cultural insensitivity. International women stealing American women's dating opportunities. Foreign women accused of unfair competition in workplace romance. Visit local ESL classes where pattern emerges. American men volunteering to help foreign women with English. Not predatory behavior, genuine desire to assist and connect. Foreign women appreciative of help and patience. Relationships developing organically through language exchange. American women, volunteers critical of male volunteer motivations. They're taking advantage of language barriers. Foreign women defend their American boyfriends. They help us learn. We help them feel appreciated. 6 months of investigation reveals uncomfortable pattern. American feminist culture driving men to seek alternatives abroad. Not racism or fetishization. Practical relationship choices. Foreign women offering partnership dynamics. American women reject. Men choosing appreciation over constant political education. Cultural voting with dating decisions and marriage choices. Discover online communities where men share experiences. Foreign wife changed my entire life perspective. Didn't realize how miserable I was until I found happiness. American women train me to expect criticism and conflict. Learn that foreign women often more educated than American women. Engineers, doctors, lawyers, choosing traditional relationship roles. Professional success combined with feminine appreciation. American women can't understand choosing traditional dynamics. Foreign women can't understand American antagonistic relationships. Meet group of international professional women at networking event. We can be successful and feminine simultaneously. American women think success requires rejecting femininity. We compete at work, cooperate at home. American women compete everywhere, even in relationships. Attend international cultural festival in city. Observe relationship dynamics between American men and foreign women. Genuine cultural appreciation rather than stereotypical attraction. Foreign women teaching men about their cultures, men learning languages, cooking traditional foods, celebrating holidays, relationships becoming bicultural rather than dominating. American women at festival critical of cross-cultural relationships. Cultural appropriation disguised as romance. Foreign women confused by American women's hostility. Realize my feminist framework created relationship market failure, constant criticism, and political analysis driving men away. Foreign women offering what American feminism eliminated. Partnership without power struggle. Appreciation without analysis. Men choosing cultural compatibility over ideological alignment. Begin questioning whether feminist relationship model actually functional. If consistently losing to international competition, maybe approach flawed. Market feedback suggesting feminist relationship philosophy problematic. Discovered that men prefer foreign women because they prefer men. American feminist culture teaching women to criticize masculinity. Foreign cultures teaching women to appreciate masculine qualities. Fundamental difference in how genders designed to interact. Men seeking environments where being male isn't considered problematic. Foreign women celebrating rather than suppressing masculine energy. American men rediscovering confidence in international relationships. Masculinity appreciated rather than analyzed and corrected. Understand that foreign women aren't submissive, they're appreciative. Cultural distinction. American feminism can't recognize. Strength expressed through partnership rather than opposition. Foreign women achieving relationship satisfaction through different model. American women confused why men choose different cultural approach. Attend couples therapy session with American feminist friends. Therapists struggling to address relationship dysfunction. Both partners competing for power rather than building partnership. Meanwhile, international couples report relationship satisfaction. Learn that feminist relationship model driving international dating. Men opting out of domestic market for foreign alternatives. Cultural competition revealing feminist relationship dysfunction. Foreign women providing partnership. American women won't offer. International dating boom reflects American feminist failure. Economic impact becoming significant. Wedding industry adapting to international bride market. Language learning programs marketed to relationship-seeking men. Travel industry developing romance tourism packages. Start questioning whether feminist relationship philosophy actually works. If men consistently choosing alternatives, maybe model is flawed. Foreign women happier in relationships than American feminists. International marriages more stable than domestic ones. Cultural evidence suggesting feminist approach creates relationship failure. Visit relationship counselor who specializes in international couples. Foreign wives more grateful, domestic wives more demanding. International marriages succeed because women appreciate rather than criticize. American women lost art of making men feel valued. Feminist destruction coming through international competition. Foreign women offering better relationship value proposition. Men voting with feet and hearts for different cultural model. American feminist relationships losing to international alternatives. Ideology failing market test of actual relationship satisfaction. Realize I'm watching real-time cultural evolution. American feminism pricing itself out of relationship market. Foreign women providing superior partnership experience. Men choosing happiness over ideology. Relationship marketplace. Choosing appreciation over analysis. Begin understanding scope of cultural transformation. Not individual preference, but systematic shift in relationship patterns. American men collectively rejecting domestic feminist relationship model. Choosing international alternatives that provide partnership satisfaction. Cultural revolution happening quietly through individual dating choices. Feminist relationship philosophy losing to international competition. Men discovering that appreciation feels better than constant correction. Foreign women teaching American men what they've been missing. Be Me, 29-year-old feminist activist, master's degree in gender studies, work as diversity consultant for tech companies, always been passionate about calling out sexism and educating men, built entire career around challenging male perspectives, recently noticed something deeply unsettling happening. Men just don't engage with my arguments anymore. Not angry pushback, complete indifference to everything I say. Starts with my relationship with longtime boyfriend Jake. Been together 3 years, used to have passionate debates about feminism. I'd point out problematic behavior, he'd defend himself. We'd discuss for hours. Recently told him his mansplaining was interrupting my career advancement, expected usual defensive response and educational opportunity. Instead, he just said okay and went back to watching Netflix. No argument, no justification, no engagement whatsoever. Felt like talking to brick wall instead of partner. Try bringing up topic again next week during dinner. We need to discuss how your male privilege affects our relationship dynamics. Jake looks up from his phone. Sure, what would you like me to do differently? Ready to launch into detailed explanation of patriarchal power structures. He's already agreeing without hearing my analysis. Whatever you think is best, while clearly not listening. Realize he's treating me like background noise, giving surface compliance while mentally checked out completely. Visit my brother Tom for Sunday family dinner. Always enjoyed our political debates about gender issues. Catch him making sexist comment about female coworkers' promotion. She probably slept her way to the top. Perfect opportunity to educate him about workplace misogyny. That's exactly the kind of thinking that perpetuates rape culture, expecting his usual defensive arguments about merit and fairness. Tom just shrugs. You're probably right, and asks mom to pass potatoes. Conversation ends before it begins. No heated discussion, no learning opportunity, just dismissal. Attend his birthday party later that month. His male friends making jokes that reinforce toxic masculinity. Interrupt conversation to explain harmful gender stereotypes. Comments like that contribute to male suicide rates and emotional suppression. Expecting pushback, or at least curiosity about my perspective. Guys just nod politely and immediately change subject to football. Feel completely invisible despite being physically present. They're not hostile. They're treating me like I don't exist. Work situation becomes even more confusing. Consulting with startup about inclusive hiring practices. Present detailed analysis of unconscious bias in tech recruitment. Algorithms perpetuate systemic discrimination against women and minorities. Male CEO listening attentively, taking notes, asking clarifying questions. Feel encouraged by apparent engagement with feminist framework. Implementation meeting reveals they hired different consulting firm. Decided to focus on skills-based hiring instead. My recommendations completely ignored, despite polite reception. Professional expertise dismissed without direct confrontation. Dating Jake becomes increasingly frustrating. Point out microaggressions in his daily language. Saying guys to address mixed groups erases female presence. He immediately starts saying everyone instead. Asking if I need help with heavy boxes assumes female weakness. Stops offering assistance with anything physical. Giving me exactly what I asked for while somehow missing the point entirely. Compliance without comprehension or genuine belief change. Feels like training dog rather than educating partner. Friend Sarah mentions similar experience with her husband. Used to fight about household labor division, now he just hires cleaning service. Asked him to share emotional labor, He started paying for my therapy. Wanted him to understand privilege. He donated to women's organizations. Pattern of men solving feminist complaints through resources rather than engagement. Throwing money at problems instead of examining underlying issues. Purchasing their way out of ideological conversations. Attend feminist book club where discussion reveals broader pattern. Men at work just agree with everything I say now. My dad stopped defending traditional gender roles. Even conservative uncle nods when I talk about patriarchy. Initially excited about apparent progress in male consciousness, realize none of these men actually change their fundamental beliefs. They learn that agreement ends conversations faster than argument. Discovered masculine strategy of superficial compliance. Visit Tom's house for nephew's birthday party. His friends discussing women in ways that trigger my feminist analysis. Interrupt to explain objectification and male gaze theory. Expecting resistance or at least engagement with my perspective. Conversation simply pauses until I finish talking, then resumes exactly where it left off, as if I never spoke. Not angry dismissal, complete irrelevance of my input. Feel like ghosts trying to impact physical world. Workplace interactions become increasingly hollow. Male colleagues ask for diversity recommendations. Provide detailed analysis of inclusive leadership practices. They implement surface-level changes while ignoring systemic issues. Gender-neutral bathroom signs without addressing pay equity. Women's networking events without examining promotion bias. Checking diversity boxes without examining underlying power structures. My expertise reduced to cosmetic organizational improvements. Relationship with Jake reaches breaking point. Confront him about his emotional unavailability during feminist discussions. You say the right words, but you're not actually listening. I need you to engage with these ideas, not just comply. Jake finally responds with honesty that shocks me. There's literally no right answer when you start these conversations. If I disagree, I'm sexist. If I agree, I'm not understanding correctly. If I ask questions, I'm making you do emotional labor. Easier to just wait until you're done talking. Realize he's been managing me rather than engaging with me, treating my feminism like weather, something to endure rather than influence. His strategy: minimal resistance, maximum survival. Learned that participation in feminist discourse is no-win situation. Any response becomes evidence of problematic male behavior. Silence and compliance only viable options for relationship preservation. Tom finally explains his perspective during private conversation. You've made it clear that everything I think is wrong. Why would I share opinions you've already decided are invalid? Easier to let you win every argument than to fight battles I can't win. Describes feeling like defendant in court where verdict predetermined. My feminist education became ideological prosecution. Masculine perspectives criminalized rather than corrected. Visit university campus for guest lecture on workplace equality. Notice male students silent during Q&A session, when professor directly calls on men for their thoughts. No questions, despite clearly having opinions based on body language. After lecture, overhear male students discussing presentation. Detailed analysis and critique shared only among themselves. Learned to self-censor in mixed-gender academic settings. Feminist classroom becoming intellectual safe space, excluding masculine viewpoints. Dating becomes exercise in masculine performance management. Jake anticipating feminist objections before expressing any opinion. I know this might sound sexist, but preceding normal observations. Self-censoring thoughts to avoid triggering gender analysis. Our relationship becoming his careful navigation of ideological minefield. Romance dying under weight of constant political evaluation. Intimacy impossible when every interaction subject to feminist critique. Attend friend's wedding, where troubling pattern continues. Male wedding guests carefully monitoring language around female guests. Conversations become stilted and formal when women join groups. Bachelor party stories heavily edited for mixed company. Not because content inappropriate, but because feminist interpretation unpredictable. Social interactions governed by fear of saying something analyzable. Masculine authenticity suppressed to avoid feminist education. Work performance review reveals unexpected feedback. Clients appreciate your expertise, but find implementation challenging. Recommendations theoretically sound, but practically difficult to execute. Perhaps focus on achievable changes rather than systemic transformation. Realize my feminist consulting, creating compliance fatigue. Organizations going through motions without believing in underlying ideology. Professional success measured in policy changes rather than belief conversion. Jake finally admits he's been researching men's rights perspectives. Wanted to understand why feminist conversations feel so hostile. Found communities of men discussing exactly what I've been experiencing. Apparently this pattern happening everywhere. Discovers masculine counter-narrative about feminist discourse tactics. Men sharing strategies for surviving ideological relationships. Underground masculine culture, developing independently of feminist input. Relationship ends when Jake moves out without major confrontation. I love you, but I can't be your student anymore. Every conversation becomes lesson about my problematic thinking. Feel like I'm failing test I never signed up to take. Describes relationship as emotionally exhausting performance. Constant evaluation of thoughts and words for feminist compliance. Romantic partnership became educational project rather than equal connection. 6 months later, working as diversity consultant becomes increasingly difficult. Companies hiring feminist consultants to demonstrate progressive values, implementing surface recommendations while maintaining existing power structures. Male executives learn to speak feminist language without changing behavior, absolutely committed to gender equality while promoting identical patterns, discovered that feminist influence peaked and now faces organized indifference. Attend family gathering, where transformation becomes obvious. Tom and Jake both present, interacting normally with other men. When I approach conversations, energy immediately shifts. Polite acknowledgement followed by topic changes or group dispersal. Not hostile rejection, strategic avoidance of feminist engagement. Learned I've become ideological hazard rather than welcome family member. Realized that complete indifference worse than angry opposition. Hostility validated importance of feminist perspective. Indifference suggests total irrelevance to masculine consciousness. Men developed immunity to gender criticism through emotional detachment. My passionate activism reduced to background noise in their lives. Uncle pulls me aside during family barbecue. You're smart, girl, but you've made yourself impossible to talk to. Every conversation becomes argument about what's wrong with men. We learned easier to avoid you than deal with constant criticism. Family relationships damaged by ideological evangelism. Feminist identity prioritized over personal connections. Start questioning effectiveness of confrontational educational approach. Men tuned out rather than tuning in to feminist messaging. Constant criticism created defensive disengagement rather than enlightenment. Activist strategy backfired by alienating intended audience. Educational mission failed through audience withdrawal. Learned uncomfortable truth about ideological influence. Requires willing participation from people being educated. Men chose silence over engagement when discourse became hostile. Feminist criticism became powerless when masculine audience opted out. Intellectual authority meaningless without receptive listeners. 6 months of reflection reveals systematic masculine withdrawal. Not from women, but from feminist discourse specifically. Men maintaining relationships while avoiding ideological discussions. Separating personal connections from political education. Romantic and familial bonds surviving despite feminist identity rejection. Discovered that feminist destruction came through irrelevance rather than refutation. Men choosing apathy over anger when facing constant gender criticism. Silence more devastating than argument to activist identity. Intellectual influence dying through audience disengagement. Passionate expertise reduced to unwelcome background commentary. Learned that being ignored worse than being opposed. Opposition acknowledges importance of feminist perspective. Indifference suggests complete irrelevance to masculine decision-making. Men developed sophisticated avoidance strategies for feminist education. My opinions holding no weight in their actual life choices. Understand now that men don't care because caring became too expensive. Feminist discourse designed to create guilt and behavioral change. Men learned to reject both guilt and obligation through strategic apathy, psychological self-protection through ideological disconnection, masculine identity evolution beyond feminist approval, seeking, feminist influence neutralized through complete masculine indifference, not argumentative defeat but conversational irrelevance. Men stopped fighting because they stopped caring about winning approval. Ideological power requires mutual engagement that no longer exists. My passionate activism speaking to the empty room of polite masculine silence.